Hi, I'm Mike McGrath, Education Director for the Scout Victory Garden here at Akridge Scout Reservation near Camden, Delaware. And this is our video number 5. The first thing we'd like to talk about today is watering. Now we've just had about 1.5 inches of rain over the past week here at Akridge, so we don't really need to do any watering right now. The soil is in perfect shape. But throughout the season we need to make sure that we're getting about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain a week between the combination of natural rainfall and the water that you will add to your garden. Let me talk a little bit about that. We need to evaluate each week how much rain is falling, and we've got a homemade rain gauge out here that's just consists of a straight-sided can. So we're going to let that go each week and check to make sure that we're getting 1 inch of natural rain. If we only get 1/2 inch, well, we'll have to make up the difference. And how do we water? Well, we don't want to water every day with a shallow amount of water because this encourages shallow rooting of the plants, which is not healthy for them during the hot summer days. So we want to water only as needed and then to water deeply and less often. I would say normally a maximum of 2 times a week, even when it's dry weather, making sure that we thoroughly soak the land. When we do water, we want to make sure that we don't wet the leaves of the plants. This is important to help stop the spread and initiation of disease. Keeping the leaves damp during hot weather can be particularly damaging to a lot of the vegetable plants we're growing on our garden plots, especially things like squash, cucumbers, and tomatoes. So make sure when you're watering and you're putting on that good soaking that you're putting it on at the base of the plant. Oh yes, and let me remind you about that mulch again. The use of the mulch can conserve that precious water. Mulch can also help us with disease control, and that's why I'd like to spend a moment with you on that. Diseases can really ravish your vegetable plants, particularly cucumbers, watermelons, cantaloupes, squash, any of the so-called cucurbits. Also tomatoes and peppers are susceptible to disease. We can control those diseases by being careful with our watering, but also using good cultural practices. For instance, let's make sure our plants are spaced wide enough apart so that we don't get overlapping leaves. This allows air to circulate and sunlight to reach the leaves. Air and sunlight are our natural allies in fighting plant diseases. Occasionally, though, we'll see diseases beginning, and sometimes that's just too late. So preventive activities are very necessary. I would suggest, for example, that you have a regular spraying system in place about every 2 weeks, spraying thoroughly the plants that are susceptible to disease. Now in the description below, we've included some links that talk about the kinds of organic approaches to disease control that we're using here at Akridge. But again, sunlight, air, and spacing of the plants, along with careful watering, will be your allies in protecting your plants from disease. Check out in the description below the links we've provided concerning plant diseases. And if diseases weren't enough to worry about in our garden, well, then there's insects. And throughout the year, you're going to have to watch out for insects. Probably one of the best ways is to scout your plants periodically, at least 2 or 3 times a week, checking carefully under leaves and on top of leaves, down in the axials between the branches and the stem of the plant, looking for insects, even when they're very, very small. And simply what? Well, removing them, killing them, never giving them a chance to get started. But occasionally we'll have outbreaks of insects that we're going to have to control in the garden. And again, good practices with a regular spray program will help you in controlling the insects on your vegetables. Again, check out the description below with some of the websites and YouTube videos concerning insect control. Well, that's about it for this number 5 video. Watering, disease control, and insect control will make sure that you have a good, vigorous vegetable plot here at the Akridge Scout Victory Gardens. Watch out for our next video, number 6, when we're going to cover harvesting, garden hygiene, and some other closing topics. Good luck, and we hope we get regular rain. One more thing. I want to urge you to spend a couple hours every week in your garden checking on weeding, watering, disease outbreaks, and insect attacks. Spending time watching out for your garden is the main way you will ensure high productivity and happy plants. Good gardening, and I'll see you in the next video.